Hey friends, how are you today? It's good to see you. I want to ask you if you have ever been in a situation in your life where you found it hard to believe that it was ever going to get better. Or you found it hard to believe that you would even get through it. Well, we all have. But I'm going to experiment tonight with this little bitty piece of paper that says believe and ask you if you believe that I can cut a hole in this paper big enough to get my whole head through it. Okay? Now that would be hard to believe, wouldn't it? It would be very hard to believe that I could do that because we can't see the final product. We have no idea what it would look like when it was finished. So by seeing this little bitty piece of paper, you think, well, there's absolutely no way possible that you could cut a hole in this piece of paper and get your whole head through it. But there are situations in life where we think, it's impossible to get through this. I will never get through this. I don't believe it will ever get better. But maybe it's because we can't see the final product. So, how about that? Think I can get my entire head through that slit? Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? Yes, it truly is. And there are things in life that we go through and we think, oh my goodness, I don't believe that I'll ever get through this divorce. I don't think I'll ever get through this breakup. I don't think I'll ever get through this loss of a job. I don't think I'll ever get through flunking chemistry. I don't think I'll ever get through, you name it. Because when we can't see what's on the other side of what we're going through, it seems very hard to believe. Just like this crazy thing here, it's kind of hard to believe that I could ever get my head, as big as my head is, through a hole in this paper. And we all agreed it was hard to believe. But sometimes when we're going through those circumstances in life, it seems about as impossible as this does. But if we could just skip forward and see what the final product was going to look like, then we would believe that yes, we would get through the divorce. We would get through our best friend moving away. We would get through flunking chemistry and algebra. We would get through that loss of a job. We would get through all kinds of things if we could see the final project. So we all said I could never cut a hole in that little bitty piece of paper big enough to get my big head through it. And it was hard to believe, wasn't it? Because we couldn't see what was on the other side. And so now that I have a hole in this little bitty piece of paper big enough to get my big head through it, I want you to look at circumstances in your life like that and think, I believe that it will get better. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. Sometimes it takes years for it to get better. Or I will believe that I'll get through this, and I'll believe that there's something greater in store for me. Okay? So every time you struggle with not believing, please remember that I got my great big head through that little piece of paper. Have a great evening.